I'm here at the 70th Congress of EAWOP with Professor Magnus Sverke, who has presented a keynote with the title Changing Employment Relationship and Perceptions of Job Insecurity, Challenges for Employees and Leaders. Do you want to introduce yourself?
No, I can just say that I would like to emphasize that I'm part of Stockholm University, but also of Northwest University in South Africa, and doing the same kind of research in both universities.
Okay. What is the role of job insecurity, this topic, in the discipline, in the work and organizational psychology in general?
I think job insecurity is a concept that has received growing attention in connection with changes in working life. Earlier on we did research more on unemployment. We cared a lot about work environment issues, stress for employees at work. But all of a sudden, with a number of changes at work, also the fear of perhaps losing one's job has become a very important research topic.
What the organization and the society can do to get benefits from your research?
That's a big question. Let's start with the organizations. I think that, one obvious implication of this kind of research is that organizations may risk losing a lot by having an insecure workforce. If people worry about losing their jobs, they will not be satisfied at work, they will lose trust in management, they will not perform as well, they might be likely to look for other jobs. So it may be very costly for organizations if they don't stop insecurity from emerging in the first place. It might be impossible to avoid that altogether, but do as much as you can in order to avoid job insecurity from being spread in the workforce. For society, I think the important question here is that if people get unemployed, they have a good safety net, but all these people who don't know if they will keep their jobs or maybe lose their jobs, there is no such system for these people, and it is shown since long that job insecurity has negative consequences not only for work attitudes and behavior, but also for health and well-being, so it could be costly in terms of sickness absence in the long run, I would say.
Okay. How did you become interested in this topic, in job insecurity?
I think I have been interested in a lot of issues regarding work since I started doing research. I worked for until I was 27 or 28 before I even started university. But during these years when I worked, I did a lot of different things, working in healthcare, working as a boat builder, and having a variety of different occupations, and also meeting a variety of bad employment or bad employers and some working conditions that were not too good. So I was involved in labor unions, and all of a sudden I was interested in studying psychology of work and organizations. So, and job insecurity is one of these aspects that I think are really important to care about.
During your speech, your presentation, you mentioned, for example, the important issue, I think, is the feeling of future. Then job insecurity is connected to the future and the feeling and perception about the future of people. Then this is important? Why do you consider that this is important in your topic?
I think what characterizes job insecurity, sometimes people just say that insecurity is the same thing as downsizing occurring in an organization or unemployment rates being high in this region or city or country. That's a simplification, I would say, because individuals experience the same situation in a variety of ways. And what is important about job insecurity is that it concerns an uncertainty about the future of one's job. I'm not sure whether I can keep it. I would like to keep it, but I worry about losing my job. So the future orientation is there, and the future is unpredictable for me as an individual employee.
Okay, and in this future, you talk about changes in our society. What is your, let me say, a scenario for the future in Europe?
Wow. I think that given the global competition and the changes that take place, we will see more of the kind of changes that I described today. Like organizations will continue to downsize. They will need to do that in order to compete with other areas of the world, and there's likely to be an increase in the competition for attracting the best employees or perhaps the cheapest workforce. We will see a lot of shrinkings of organizations, jobs that will just disappear while others will re-emerge. That will mean that we risk having some people that will never have the chance to get a decent job, while people with good education, I think, will have a better situation. So that's unfortunately what I believe.
Okay. What led you to become a work and organizational psychologist?
Yeah, as I said before, my background with a variety of jobs and in labor unions made me interested in working life issues. But actually, I think it was good luck to just end up in doing research, because when I did my studies, I found them very interesting. I found a professor that I liked his research, and I was lucky enough to be able to spend a semester of internship in his research group, and in that way I sort of cultivated an interest in doing research, and since then I've been here.
Mm-hmm. Regarding job insecurity, what could be your suggestion for a practitioner in the workplace?
You mean like HR?
Mm-hmm.
I would say that remember that it's difficult to cope with this uncertainty, and there are no safety nets around people who worry about losing their jobs. We are very good at taking care of people who lose their jobs. We can help them find new jobs. But one implication would be, of course, if possible, don't play around with numerical flexibility and staffing too much. Be brave enough to keep a larger core of employees and don't upsize and downsize according to fluctuations, but rather make sure to have some kind of stability and build long-term employment relationships based on trust. That's one important thing I would say.
Okay. You also mentioned in your presentation the role of unions. What is this role in this changing world?
I guess it also depends on what country we talk about. If we talk about the Scandinavian countries with 70-75% unionization rate, and compare that to some countries in Southern Europe or with 5-10%, or parts of the world where it's more or less forbidden to join a union. So that would mean, of course, that unions have different options or possibilities to be active players depending on country. But I would say the union has an important role in, first of all, protecting employment security as much as they can, but secondly also in being active partners to management in terms of what to do for the future, or is it necessary to go through these changes? Could we do it in slightly different ways? How best to take care of the employees in change processes, etc.
Let me finish about one question about your research and your activity. What achievement in your career are you most proud of?
I will cheat and give you more than one answer. No, Probably the most important thing for me personally is my promise that if I would pass the first exam when I started university, I will hang on to the studies, and I did. So that's something I'm proud of. But apart from that, I think the most important things of my job is taking care of PhD students, arranging money for PhD students to do their projects. So I'm most proud of all the good PhD students that I've been lucky or fortunate enough to be able to supervise, and I'm very proud of what they have done.
Okay, thank you for your time and your participation in this interview.
Thank you, Vicente.